Are you at risk of sexual and gender-based violence? Do you know where to get help? Lawyers Alert has developed a Ussd code that enables you to access sexual and reproductive health rights services and information. Hello, I'm Aisha, and I'll be walking you through how to use the Ussd code. To access this code, dial *706 *24#. The state option pops up. Select the state you're located. If in Kano, press 2. The local government option pops up. Select preferred local government area. Either a male or female, select gender. Select either you want to access service or information. If service, select service type. For psychosocial support, select. The service provider option comes up, and you can now copy out the information to reach out to the service provider. Use the information option when you need to talk to someone, lay complaints, or understand options available through this number. Seek help today. You deserve to be free from your abuser.
And with that short explainer video, Lawyers Alert, a legal and human rights non-governmental organization, launched a short code aimed at helping some of the most vulnerable members of the society, women and girls. Held in the organization's office in Abuja, Nigeria, on the 27th of October 2022. The launch was a modest affair, with pressmen in attendance and a number of partners joining the activity online. And yet the importance of the availability of such a service cannot be overemphasized. Roseline Ogenebrume, the program director of Lawyers Alert, also joined virtually from the United Kingdom to kickstart the event formally.
Access to sexual and reproductive health advice, which is SRHR, information and services, cannot be overemphasized. Protecting and effectively responding to victims and survivors of STDs is essential. STD is prevalent in Nigeria, with its intervention ineffectively distributed owing to limited knowledge, lack of access to benefits, and coverage. 60% of our women reside in rural areas where there are no means of accessing adequate benefits and information.
Another team member who played a big role in actualizing the project, Solomto Chukwum Ozobulu, coordinated the activity and took questions from journalists.
I was curious when I saw where she said the technology can work even without internet connectivity. Am I right?
Yes.
So I think I need some more insight on this. And then secondly, the selection of these 5 states, these 5 target states, how do you come about it? Is there any criteria or any reason for these 5 states being selected? And the third question is, now, rural women are among our focus. So how would they use this thing? Would they undergo training? How would they be able to cope with this if they have such issues to come with? Thank you.
The question regarding internet connectivity. So if you have a cell phone like this one, you don't have access to Facebook, WhatsApp, and every other internet functionality. It's not a smartphone. So with a phone like this, you can dial the code. And then they will be quickly linked to a service provider that is closest to them. Now, a woman is in an abusive situation and she wants access to legal. She can pick the option for legal, and both address of the place to go to, the phone number of who to call is displayed for her to either walk to the place or put a call. If she's confused as to what to do, then she can use the information section and then call the toll-free line available at the information session, and the toll-free line can give her a guide, help her, provide psychosocial first aid to her, and help calm the situation for her to be able to move to the nearest service provider that is closest to her. So that's the answering the question on connectivity. Now, answering the question as to choice location. This project is the first of its kind. While we were designing this project in Lawyers Alert, we thought to ourselves, we need to see a way that most states in the geopolitical zone, the different geopolitical zones, are included. So we have Bauchi, we have Kanu, we have Enugu, you have Ussd, and you have Benue State. Benue, because of the crisis going on in Benue, the increase in IDPs, and the fact that they need to report violations when need be. The same with Bauchi, there's increased number of IDPs in Bauchi due to the level of conflict going on in that location. Enugu was influenced by some of the, the farmer header crisis that interborders Benue, interborders Enugu too. So that is the reason for choosing Enugu. And same goes to Ussd. We've heard of the crisis going on in Ussd. So we chose locations where we see that not just that we have rural women, but situations are pushing more women to be at disadvantage. So we chose these locations to see that women and girls in these various locations are able to access SRHR services closest to them, or be able to talk to someone when they need to talk to someone.
The president of Lawyers Alert, Rami Mom, gave further insight into the thinking behind the intervention.
The inspiration came as a result of the COVID era, when we needed to reach our beneficiaries of our services, and it was so difficult to reach them because of the lockdown. They couldn't really communicate to anybody. Incidentally, most of the violations, and especially women, young persons, sexual minorities, whatever, people who are really at a disadvantage, occurred mostly during the lockdown era, because they were trapped in the same circle, the same shelter places and all of that, with their predators or those who were, victimizing them, and it was so difficult to reach them and all of that. So luckily for us, we had a WhatsApp group where we had female sex workers on, and a few of them tried at that time to reach us, and so we could reach them through the WhatsApp platform, but it did not give them that confidentiality and that trust that whatever information we're passing was confidential, owing to the fact that other groups are also on that platform. And so the idea of confidentiality, the idea of being able to reach Lawyers Alert, whether lockdown or no lockdown, became very imperative for us at that stage. How do we get to meet these women? How do we get to meet people who really need our services? And so the idea of having the ability to use a phone, whether there's internet or not, all you need is a functional phone, get in the codes and you can reach us and all of that. You can reach whichever services you also desire, whether shelter home, hospitals that give services and all of that. So we went around collecting the addresses, we collected the contact details of all the services that this group of people will need, and so we compile them, and then it's what you have on the USSD codes now. You dial and you get that for services. For information, you can get Lawyers Alert free toll line, and we'll talk to you for as long as it's possible. So I would say the lockdown era and COVID was the inspiration for this project. The challenge basically had to do with funding. We were thinking we would have a project that was large, that can cover the entire country, but as you can see, we've just been able to restrict this to about 4 or 5 states for now, and even at that, in just some local governments. But the idea of GBV in Nigeria, sexual and gender-based violence, is pervasive, is deep, is edged, is across the country, and we really wonder whether we can have the desired result. But it's better to start than not to start at all. So we want to start and see how we can hopefully replicate this and escalate it to, wider circle, and more women, especially who suffer sexual and gender-based violence, can benefit from this. So the biggest challenge we had was the issue of funding. These women are supposed to make these USSD calls free of charge. But in truth, it's not free of charge. Because for every text message is sent, lawyers' alert is debited, not the women. And so we have to keep funding that mechanism. We have to keep making sure that there's enough data, there's enough whatever in it, and it takes a lot of resources. So that is going to be the challenge. But we're hoping that we'll have partners who can come in and hopefully keep, putting some funds in there. Second challenge is going to be lawyers themselves. While lawyers can provide free legal services as per their professional capabilities, it's difficult to tell them to take their money and file cases in court, take their money and drive to court and all of that. Those are incidental expenses that should be paid, and lawyers alert tries to make those payments, but for how long we can continue or when it gets big, that's the issue. Including even doctors and as the case might be, psychosocial support and shelter homes services. So it's the incidental cost of all these things that we're looking at, but we're hoping that we'll be able to, somehow get there. Second challenge we have is the issue of even identifying free services, at the rural areas where these women can quickly run to. But mercifully, what we did was to do an intensive survey where we can find free legal services, whether as to shelter, whether as to psychosocial support and all of that. And mercifully, we're able to come up with quite a healthy amount of services delivery areas or service delivery points, and those are the ones that we are right now working with. We are working with organizations that are rural based. They speak in their language and all of that. And today we formally launched this USSD code. We're going to go down to the states. We have 2 partners in each state, organizations that are women-led, community-based and all of that. Through them, we reach the market women, we reach the churches, we reach the mosque, we reach as many women as possible, speaking in their own language. Mercifully, again, this is not an internet service thing. You don't need to, it's not so difficult to understand. Just press 222, press star. You see what you want to see. So it's very easy and all of that. And we do not see much difficulty. So Lawyers Alert has partners who are at the rural level, and they are the ones who take these messages down. They are both women-led organizations in the rural areas, faith-based organizations, in churches, in mosques, and all of that, and marketplaces. So it's going to be, we don't see any issue at all arising from the issue of visibility, advertisements, sensitizations, and all of that. That's all been taken care of by our partners.
It must be noted that this initiative is the first of its kind for victims of sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria. It is hoped that its existence will create a safe channel for those trapped in such circumstances to seek succor in the relevant authorities for protection from their abusers.